Well, let's get more on the heat wave in the United States now. We're joined by Hannah Safford. She is Senior Policy Advisor in the White House Climate Policy Office, and she's joining us live from the White House. Thank you very much for your time. Firstly, what are you hearing and seeing about how people are already being affected?
Yeah, hi, thanks. It's so great to be here. So we know that millions of people across the United States are being affected by record-breaking heat. This is not just an isolated thing. People have been experiencing record-breaking heat for weeks now.
And the states that we've been mentioning, just how prepared are they?
Right, so that we've got a lot of resources out there. The most important thing that people can do while they're being directly impacted by extreme heat is be aware and be prepared. And that's why last year the president launched heat.gov. It's really easy. Heat.gov is a one-stop shop for heat preparedness. You can find science-based forecasts so that you know what's coming. You can find tips on how you should prepare for extreme heat and what are some best practices to keep you safe. And you can find emergency resources. So if you need help or you know somebody who needs help, then they can get that assistance.
But how accessible are things like that? And is that what people turn to when they are in a situation where they are facing extreme heat? I know that the current administration has put a number of measures in place to deal with extreme heat. Mm-hmm. Do you see any of them helping this year?
Yeah, that's right. So in addition to those informational resources that we've got through heat.gov, we're making a number of on-the-ground efforts to help communities that are directly impacted by extreme heat. The Environmental Protection Agency has provided funding for schools across the country to act as cooling centers. Through our LIHEAT program, low-income households can get utility assistance to help them with cooling bills. And we're also going to bring people here to the White House to make sure that we're hearing directly from mayors and other community leaders who are most impacted by heat, and how we can work together at the state, local, and federal levels to address those issues.
And which are the communities that are most affected?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of communities affected, like you said, across the southern parts of the United States. It's not just a geographic region where we're seeing communities be disproportionately affected. We know that the lowest income, the most vulnerable Americans who have historically borne the brunt of climate change are also bearing the impacts of heat. Those are people who have to work outside, who don't necessarily have good cooling in their homes. So we're paying special attention to those communities.
And I know that you've spoken about how much the climate and climate policy and putting measures in place for such extreme climate events, how much of a priority that is for this government. But you've also spoken about how you are dealing with Republicans in government who still deny climate change. So how are you going to find consensus on something so important to deal with these events as they unfold?
That's right. So extreme heat, it's something that hits us every summer, but the intensity and the frequency of these heat waves that we're seeing, scientists agree those are fueled by climate change. And this president has called climate change a crisis. It's one of the top crises that are affecting our nation. And that's why through the Inflation Reduction Act, through the bipartisan infrastructure bill, we've secured more than $300 billion to fight climate change. And we welcome all partners in helping us achieve that mission. Republicans, Democrats, this is something that's affecting all Americans, and we need all Americans to step up to the plate and address that underlying cause.
All right, that is Hannah Safford joining us live from the White House. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.